Today we will be learning about graphing linear equations. So, what is a linear equation? Well, a linear equation is an equation whose graph makes a line, a straight line. And the points on the line are really important because they are the solution to the problem or the equation that you have created. So a linear equation is an equation that forms a line on a graph. The awesome thing about the points on the line is that they are a solution to the equation. So each point on the line is a solution to the equation. So we have an equation. We're going to plot the points on the graph, and if it forms a straight line, then that means that it is a linear equation. So linear equation makes a line on a graph, and the solution are the points. All right, so what exactly does this mean, or what does this even look like? Well, let's talk about that part. So we have an example, and in your example it says to graph y equals negative 2x plus 1. It wants us to graph that. Well, in order to be able to graph this, we need to know what x is and what y is. So we're going to just make a table of values. So we're going to make a table of values, and your table will look like this. You will have x. You will have your equation, which is y equals negative 2x plus 1. On your table, you will also have the y value. And then the last column is going to be your ordered pair, or your x comma y. All right, so in this table of values, we are going to use different points. So we will use different points to try to figure out what our ordered pair is. Okay, so let's talk about some values. Let's use negative 1, 0, and 2 for our values in our table. So in our first equation, x is going to equal negative 1. So this says that y equals negative 2 times negative 1 plus 1. So when we solve this problem right here, we will get what y equals. So we know that negative 2 times negative 1, a negative times a negative is a positive. That gives us a positive 2 plus 1, which equals 3. So for our first value, we have y as a 3. So our x value is negative 1. Our y value is positive 3. So we're using this equation to figure out what the ordered pair is. All right, let's do 0. Let's try 0. So y equals negative 2 times 0 plus 1. Well, we know that negative 2 times 0 is just 0. Plus 1 gives us an output of 1. So in this equation, when x is 0, y is 1. So our ordered pair over here is 0 for the x value, and the y is 1. And our last problem that we have is y equals negative 2 times 2, because they give us the 2, plus 1. And we're going to figure out what our x value or our y value is. So we're going to solve again. Negative 2 times a positive 2. That gives us negative 4. And negative 4 plus 1, so I have negative 4, and then I add in 1, it gives me a negative 3. So my value here is negative 3. So x and y, when x is 2, my y is negative 3. So we could keep going. We could add one more point here if you wanted to, but it's not necessary at this point. So now what do? Well, we're going to take this information that is the x and y, and we're going to create a graph. Okay, so we're going to take our x and our y, and we are now going to create a graph. So you should have received some graph paper in your supplies, and it would either look like this or like this, but it should be sticky graph paper. So what we're going to do is we are going to create an ordered pair here. So we're going to start out by finding the middle as best you can, and then you're just going to draw a line going either direction so it makes this big split. Okay? Now from here we are going to go ahead and start to plot some points. We know that the middle is 0, 0. Okay, so 0, 0 is right in the middle. And then we have 1 on this line, 2, 3, 4. Here we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. Going up, this one's positive, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then down below we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. You can keep going if you want on your graph, that's totally fine, but that's all we really need. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use our table of values to help us put dots on our graph. So our first ordered pair here is negative 1, 3. So I'm going to take and find negative 1 on my x, which is right here, and then I'm going to go up on the y 3 places and put a dot. So here's my x-axis, here's my y-axis. There's my first dot. Next, I want 0, 1. So after I plot it, I'm just going to put a check, 0, 1. So 0 means I don't go anywhere, and then I go up 1. And my last one, which I didn't put a comma or a parentheses on, I'm sorry, is 2, negative 3. So now I'm going to go over 2 and down 1, 2, 3 lines and put a dot. So now I have 3 points on my equation, and I can use a ruler, or you can use the edge of something to connect your dots. And if it forms a straight line, you have a linear equation. So we have a linear equation here because it's a straight line. It has the solutions on the line. This is a linear equation. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my graph right here on the side of my paper, on the other, just like that. Okay? All right, let's do a try it now. So we're going to do a try it. And your try it says to graph. Your try it says to graph y equals 3x plus 0. All right, so remember the first thing you do is to create a table of values with these for your x's, figure out what your y's are, and then go ahead and graph. All right, hit pause right now so you don't hear me, and then I am going to start to solve. All right, so my first step I want to do is to create a table of values. So I'm going to create x. I am going to create y equals 3x plus 0. This also can look like y equals just a 3x, like this. Either of those equations is fine. Y and x, comma, y. All right, let's go ahead. My first value I'm going to use is going to be -1, then 0, and then a 2. All right, so let's go ahead and plug this in. Y equals 3 times -1 plus 0. So 3 times -1 equals -3 plus nothing gives me -3. So I get -3. My x is -1. My y is -3. Okay, the next one that I'm going to try to use substitution on is y equals 3 times 0 plus 0. So 3 times 0 is 0 plus 0 gives me 0. So 0, 0 is my ordered pair. And the last one I have is y equals 2. Nope, that's a lie. 3, because there's my 3, times 2 plus 0. Well, 3 times 2, notice I'm just using substitution here. 3 times 2 plus nothing, that gives me 6 plus nothing equals 6. There is my ordered pair, 2, 6. All right, now I can use my same graph paper if I want, since I already have it created, and I'm just going to use a different color now for these lines, for these ordered pairs. So I'm going to go ahead and use pink because I haven't used that color yet. All right, so my first plot is -1, -3. So I'm going to start at 0, 0, -1, -3. 1, 2, 3. My second line is 0, 0. Well, 0, 0 is at the origin, and the last dot is 2, 6. So I'm going to go over 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I need to connect my lines. You cannot see 2, 6 there. There we go. Now I'm going to connect my dots. And I get a straight line, so we know it's a linear equation. So 2, 6. This one here is 0, 0, and this one is -1, -3. All right, how did you do on graphing linear equations? Go ahead and answer your essential question. How do we graph linear equations? And put your rating of understanding out to the box. If you need an extra example of this, please come on back to the Google Meet and we will do another example. Otherwise, you may head on over to Big Ideas and do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work and effort today. Thank you so much and make it a great day.